Yeah. I want to welcome y'all to the ArthurJ84 podcast. Let's get it. Just sit back and let it breathe. We coming with more heat. You only get one shot. You shady or maybe not. You capping, we laughing. We on a mission. Now listen, we making statements and stating some of opinions and some of fact. So sit back and just relax. All the bull don't get no slack. We bringing it back to back with a swag and a class act. It's levels to this, and the truth will show who your friends are. That hate you won't get far. So be great. Let's debate. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hey.
I'm Arthur J.
And I'm Tori Sadell.
And we back with another episode. We want to welcome y'all to the ArthurJ84 podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let's get right into it, brother.
Go.
How's it going with you? Everything good, man?
Yeah, man. Everything great. Won't complain. I ain't said that in a while. Can't complain.
Yes, sir. That's it, man. We're going to talk about these men with mommy issues, man. Ooh, man. I was having a conversation with the I always tell you I have two best friends, and that's you and this other person. She's a woman, and she was talking about a certain individual guy friend, and the idea came from that conversation of like we man, always it's like she made a good point. I was like, man, that's deep, because you always heard the saying of whether you a guy or whether you a woman having daddy issues. You've always heard that saying. Like since the beginning of time, daddy issues. You know, she acting like that because of daddy issues. He acting like that because of daddy issues. But how often do you hear people talk about mommy issues? I'm gonna tie you right in on that one.
Well, you rarely. That's a rare, because the mother is the nature, or the one who always with the kid, regardless if dad's around or not. And 90%, I shouldn't put a number on there because I don't know the number, but most of the time that it's always the mother that is present.
That's
you know
just
what
real,
I'm saying? So you don't hear that often,
right, man? And it's oftentimes that we have to really dive into that now that I'm starting to think about that, because, I've actually heard, and it's very rare, but I've actually heard times where guys will be speaking out on the platform about how they didn't have a relationship with their mom. It's not often that I hear it, but it's very rare. But I've heard that. Me personally, I've heard that. I didn't personally experience that because I'm very close with my mom.
I'll give you a famous person real quick. DMX had that issue, just to put somebody that's known. He had that issue.
Rest in peace, RP to the ex, man.
Yes, man.
But yeah, man. And I've actually seen women go through that, like with mommy issues, where their mom was in their life, but oftentimes I've seen women and daughters go at it. Like the way I give example, like my sisters and my mom, their relationship is close, just like me and my mother is close. Yeah. But the difference that I see, that they'll go through certain things as women that I won't go through with my mom. Like me and my mom could get in the car and not say a word, and we've had a full conversation. Let that breathe for a minute. Think about that for a minute. That's just how our relationship is. We would get in the car and we won't say a word, but it's like we had a whole full conversation. Yeah. Because it's just the presence of, and we may say we'll have a conversation at times, and there'll be times where we'll say very little, but what we said was so powerful. That's just the kind of relationship we have. But there's oftentimes different people, their mother was in their life, but it's like they argued a lot. They always fussed. They always, I've seen this a lot with women and girls. I'm telling you, because I look and I be like, man, why? I be thinking about stuff I don't want to get into it, but I'm like, why you arguing? Because I don't, go ahead.
But most of the time, when it comes to mother and daughter, it's more so, especially if that's the firstborn daughter, they're more alike than they just alike. So they're gonna clash. You know what I'm saying? And it's mostly the first daughter, not but all of them, they raised by a woman. They act like a woman. They get their mannerism from their mothers. Man, with men,
we got to get into that.
With men, we're a little different. We're breeded different than a woman raising her daughter. So they're gonna clash in ways we can't clash. Like right. I've actually told girls before. It's like, man,
they'll be like, man, me and my mom got into it, blah blah blah. I'd be like, you know why y'all got into it? They don't never like to hear this. I said, cause y'all act just alike.
Yeah.
That's why y'all get into it, man.
I told my daughter that too. My stepdaughter. I told her, I said, you and your mom are more alike than you actually know. You know what I'm saying? So
man, that's like funny. with you know, with my daughter, it's the same way. It's our relationship is like I'm not going back and forth. She already know that. Like as men, you probably was like that too growing up. Guys around you be like, you acting girly if you go back and forth like that, the way girl and a mother would do that. Like for real, that's real talk. Like they'd be like I know guys that was around me, they'd be like, bro, like they'll get on you like that. Like, bro, you acting too feminine, man.
When I leave him, you know, I gotta go, you know, to my other job. We got somebody on my job that's acting. He's showing characteristics as a female. You're in your emotions. It's like, and I'm not saying female is a bad thing, but he's very much in his emotion. Like we don't move off emotion. Like he'll throw a whole temper tantrum. Like, like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Right, and that's people got to understand. That's just real talk. Yeah. Like I see it all the time too, even on my job, man. You know, a guy, he's an older guy, and he. You know, he that same way where he don't get his way or he don't go his way, it be so much of like you be like, okay, I'm not judging nobody, but it's like you as me as a man, I'm not used to moving like that. It's like I'm not finna be okay. You know, we gonna deal with it head on or not deal with it at all.
You can see it. You can see it. Like man. So, you're not good at hiding when something's bothering you, so you might need to work on that, sir.
Yeah, man. You see people go through it all the time, and I always just tell them like it's so important because we always know how important it is to have a relationship with a father. You know, that don't always happen, but you know, mothers, it hit a little different because when you don't have a relationship with your mother, it's almost like you feel like you don't have nothing because when nobody else was there, who was there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When nobody else wanted to put up with you, who put up with you? Yeah. When you felt like you couldn't call on nobody else, who could you call on?
Yeah.
So imagine that person that feel like they don't have nothing. They don't have no mother to go to.
You hear it often, way too much, if you ask me in my opinion, especially in the black community, where the mother said, I had to be there. Where was your father? I had to be there for you as your mother and your father. I had to step up in places that I supposed to have help. You know what I'm saying? So that's the norm, you know, and it shouldn't be, but that's the reality. So to hear that you don't have a relationship with your mom, it's kind of like baffling, like what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's like you expect mom to be there.
Yeah.
You expect mom. People say superhero dad, but I don't see it like that. You know, my situation is different. So it is superhero mom or, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like mom, them women, man, you just expect them to be there for you. So to hear that they not, it's like,
it's so funny, man, that you say that because it's like, man, you know, there are some, whether I'm on my Snapchat or because usually Snapchat or you know I got TikTok now too. I just like to have fun. I may say things or have a brief little let's talk about it conversation and just you know just. But some women will think that I be coming at them, but I'm like, man, I think the world of women. You know why? Because shout out to my mom. I have seen her be every bit of the definition of a mother.
Yeah,
like real talk, and I know. You know, it's expected to hear, you know, people expect to hear this, but I'm being real. Yeah. If I didn't have nothing good to say, I wouldn't be saying nothing.
Yeah.
But my mom have been the best because I've seen her with us growing up put everything aside for us. I've seen her be a mother first. I've seen her a lot of times be a mother first. So, you know how when you raise a certain way and you used to seeing something and then you don't see that, you be like, it's hard to grasp that. And I'm going to be more specific on what I'm talking about. Like, the way she was being a mother, I don't expect everybody to be a mother like that. But it bothers me because I'm like, you will put so much before your child. And I'm going to tie you right into that because it seems like a light bulb going on.
Yeah, you
go ahead.
Spark something.
Go ahead, brother.
Listen, but do you think now generation that form of what a woman was is kind of being diluted? Because now I see a lot, and I'm not judging nobody, but I do. It's reality.
I see a
lot of sorry women in this world,
as
mothers. You know what I'm saying? Like it is crazy. So do you think that it's a lack of or of coming out as a woman, how the women was. Now you see the women, they're bashed they child's fault, they child's father in front of the kids and all that. My dad wasn't always there, so I know I done said this before, but I never heard my mom say nothing bad. Now this social media, you do something wrong with these women, like, oh, you know, it's a different area. So do you see the sense of where you say your mom did whatever she had to do to make sure y'all had or take care of y'all without complaints, or you didn't hear about the complaints to the generation of women that we're dealing with now?
That's a very good question. Yes, I see a major difference. Now, it's definitely, I can just say I see a major difference in some, because then there are some that I'll be like, okay, I see a lot of similarities. Yeah. So of course I see a major difference, and that's and a lot of times people hear me say that and they'll try to look at themselves and be like, you know, I think it's the little things that my mom did, using her for an example. It's the little things. It started with a lifestyle. You know, I think a lot of times when you become a parent, and I know by being a parent, and you know by being a parent, you learn over the years of it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about these kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So as men, we've seen it all over the nation. We fail at that in a lot of areas, and not to say all, but you have a lot of that. So I think with women, with the kids being there, is more of get camouflage. So because you so seeing that, oh, the kids is there, or the kids got Jordans on, or the kids got the flyers, this and that. So you being an excellent mother. And I'm not here to say who's being a bad mother and who's not. Like I say, if the shoe fit, wear it. I'm just here to say that I watch my mother in details. In details, do things that it mattered later on, where I look back now and I'll be like, it's a lot of mothers don't do that.
And
So right, to answer your question, I see a major difference in people. Real quick before I turn it back to you, I hear a lot of times, and it really bothers me, you know, when I hear females say, "Ain't your mama," and I understand it, but I be like,
who they saying this to? The guy?
Yeah, they said it to a guy. Ain't your mama. Man, I've heard that many times, whether it was on TV or in person. I've had that said to me, where ain't your mama, and it's like, God, you gotta help me, because I be trying not to be disrespectful, but I be thinking to myself, I be like, I know, know exactly. You not. I know, like I know. Trust me, I know you not.
Just to touch on that real quick, but ain't it a trip how you could hear that from a woman say, I ain't your mother, but the guy they look for, especially if their father figure was in their life, is someone that's like their dad. You see what I'm saying? So it changes now when it's the opposite, but they look for a male like their father was to them, especially if he's a good dad. They look for those characteristics. So why would you say that about a man, or say, oh, I ain't your mother? You don't think sometimes men look for some of that nurturing, not being my mama, not you got to do all this, but something got to be pulled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's funny how that world is reversed.
Why did I choose you? I chose you for a reason, because a man, you know, he that findeth a woman find a good thing. So if I chose you, it got to be some kind of similarities. I would think. I've heard good men say, I saw some similarities in you of traits of my mother. I didn't ask for you to be just like my mother, because of course that's weird. You hear me? Like, trust me, that's if I'm married, let's go there for a little bit. If I'm married to you, the things that I want you to do,
my mom can't do now. Hey,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's get lit.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, man, that, you know, mommy issues is a major issue, because with that, when everything else fails, I can go to my mama, and that's just, I can relate, you can relate, you know, many people can relate, but then there are also many people that can't relate. I want to get into real quick.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about these guys who have mama issues, and whether they don't treat a woman right, whether they, you know, felt some way growing up about their mother, and they just didn't have the respect that you and I have for our mother, and it carries on to a woman that they seeing. How do you feel about that?
In that case, not all cases, but probably majority of the cases, it was a father that wasn't present to show you how to treat a woman. A father, even though, the times I say my dad wasn't there or whatever, but let my mom call my dad when I'm cutting up or acting up as a kid. That's the worst call you want to get. Oh, you going to respect your mama. I don't care if the man ain't been around 2-3 years. When he get that call, it's something about that male not being in present to set how you should treat your mom with respect. You don't disrespect your mom. That's how I came up, and a lot of others come up. So I believe when a person could disrespect their mother or whatever, it's a absentee of the father not checking that. So yeah. That ain't for all cases, but I believe, in my opinion, that's where that stems from mostly. So,
man, I'm glad you said that, because it's so crazy, because you said that and you just made me think about a very good point. Me being a single man, the same way women, because you'll hear women say, but when I get with this guy, I watch how he treat his mother. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. As a single man, I do the same thing. So men, why don't y'all do the same thing and see how these girls talk to their mother? Because if they talk to their mother like that, they gonna talk to you like that. If they cuss their mother out, they gonna cuss you out. If they hang up on their mother, they gonna hang up on you. I've actually seen that, man. I've actually seen where, someone was talking to their mother, and who I was seeing at the time, and they was like, "Okay, mom, bye." Click. And I seen that multiple times, and I'm like, I felt like my mom was gonna come out the air with a belt and be like, "If you ever do that to me, ever," you know what I'm saying? Man. So I think it's such a balance on both sides of to look at what you're getting into and how important it is of knowing who you're dealing with, or knowing if you have mommy issues, because we talked about in life before of having daddy issues. You hear that all the time, but you do not hear a lot of times of people with mommy issues, whether you're a girl or whether you're a male. How you feel about that?
And that's coming up. Like, say you're single, so I'm gonna give you a quick story way back. Even when we go to choosing our mate, just like a woman choose characteristics of maybe her father, I choose characteristics like, if especially I already have daughters, how you gonna be with my daughter? What kind of mother? Because my goal is to be married, so you'll be around my kids, right? So I'm looking at you. What kind of mother are you, man? I end up stopped dating one chick because she was twerking in front of her daughter. I'm like, I don't want my daughter to pick up on that. So that mommy issue stuff, it goes farther than just it being your mother. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of characteristics in this mommy area. It's like, it's tough, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just gave that example. Just like they look for characteristics of their father, a great man, we do the same thing too. And
hey, I want y'all to let that breathe for a minute. Characteristic, let that breathe, because it's so important what you do in front of your kids. It's so important. So it's like, you made me think about, since we talking about mommy issues, it goes both ways, what you do in front of your kids as a father and a mother. But since we on the subject of mommy issues, I see that a lot on social media, where it's certain appropriate things that I be like, you doing that in front of your daughter? Especially with the dancing thing. And I ain't going to get too deep into it, but just brushing up on it a little bit, I think it's important on what your daughter see, because how you carry yourself as a mother, as a lady, it really reflects on how she see things. Like she'll be like, well, my mother do it, so it'll be in her to want to do it. She'll be inspired by that, because you got to think, as a young age, the first person you look up to, even before you start, because you get to an age, they get teenagers, they want to be with their friends, but before they even get that age, it was once upon a time, you was the world of them, whether you was a mother or whether you was a father in their life. You was the world of them. They wanted to do everything you did. Yeah. It's different traits and different things you was doing. They picked up on because they was watching every move. So it's so important to really make changes for the generation that's coming, after us, to be able to set that example for their kids. Yeah. To see that, hey, okay, I'm a mother now. You know what I'm saying? I gotta move differently now. I've heard mothers actually, you know, and also on the positive side, I've heard mothers actually say, man, I can't do what I used to do. I'm a mother now.
Yeah.
It was different. I remember, just real quick, I'm gonna turn it back over to you. I remember watching Kill Bill, and it was a scene where the enemy came to her hotel, and she was just finding out that she was pregnant. And as she was telling the story, you know, or narrating the story, she was saying, or she was explaining to the person before they was getting ready to fight and kill each other to death. She was like, you know, look, on the ground, that's the pregnancy test. It's telling me, but she was basically saying, I'm pregnant. She was like, you know, I was a killer. I was willing to die and kill. But it was at that moment. It was at that moment that things changed. I can tell you as a father, man, as a father, a lot of things changed. It's a lot of spazzing out that you don't even know that I want to do at times. It ain't just because we got a platform. It ain't just because our brand. It's because I be thinking about a father first. My daughter might be watching this.
Yeah.
My daughter might see this, and she may not say nothing, because my daughter kind of person that she ain't gonna say nothing. But I see them eyes at times when I be somebody pull out in front of me or somebody do something. Them eyes get to looking like, let me see how dad gonna react. That matters because I seen it goes back to mommy issue. I seen my mother handle herself and conduct herself in a way that even inspired me as her son. And my sisters, when times they got off track, they can't ever go and look at my mom and see her handle things out of character. Times when we would be like, man, you should have really, you should have, no, there's another way.
There's another way.
Everybody ain't strong like that. I don't tie you into that. How you feel about
that? Man, that's growth, man. That's maturity. That's showing your adulthood, because it's bigger than you. Yeah. That shows that it's bigger than you. I had that conversation with a young guy, but of course I'm seeing these things through a 41-year-old eyes, not a 20-some-year-old eyes. So we have to get them time to learn and grow. Oh yeah. So you know the things that I probably was when I was 20-some, I didn't have it either. But that's the knowledge that you try to instill on others. So I'm like, man, when it comes to your kid, you got to take your emotions out.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
When it comes to your kids, you have to take your emotions out. Take yourself out the equation and put them first, what's best for them. And I had this conversation with a young man, but of course, like I say, I'm saying these things through a 41-year-old's eyes, not a 21, 20, 22-year-old. You know what I'm saying? But you got to give them a chance to grow. But if you got the knowledge, of course they're going to do it, whatever, but it's on you to give it to them. You know what I'm saying? But like you said,
and that's so important that you did that, man. It's like the world need more of that.
I done made the mistakes,
man. You know what I'm saying?
I done made the mistakes. It's to try to help somebody not to make the same mistakes. You know,
so. And it made me wonder, like, how is his relationship with his mom? It made me just wonder that. You never know, because you know what I'm saying. So that's important. Like, it may be great, it may not be, but what if I look at it like, what if it's not? Yeah, that's what this whole premises of this episode is about. Is you know, men with mommy issues. You know, so it's like, as men, that affects you just as much as the father not being there, because it's like we kind of in society we kind of used to that. You know, even though that's so important too, and we talked about it before, it's almost devastating when, you know, your mom was there. Let's just say was physically there, but y'all never had that nurturing relationship, because you know, at times when, as old as I am, man, I be thinking, you know,
you old.
I'm getting there, brother. You know, I'm getting there. You know,
keep on living. Keep on living.
You know, I look. You know, ladies, I look mighty good for my age. You know, I look mighty good. But you know,
where the camera at?
There's times when, you know, you just really need that nurturing from a mother, and if you don't have that, it really it hurts you in life. Real quick, and I'm gonna turn it right back into you. I've seen a guy talk online. He was really expressing the kind of relationship he had with his mom, and the kind of relationship he had with his mom was bad. You know, she would always just down him, talk bad about his dad, always just said how much his dad was nothing, and she would yell at him and just, you know, just fuss at him, just all that. So with him getting older and being a ladies' man, he didn't care about women's feelings. He started dogging him out. And I'm not trying to make no excuses for him, and I don't think he was trying to make no excuses. He was just telling what it is.
What it is.
You know, and even now lately I've been hearing them say, you know, I move differently now. It's just when I didn't used to listen to women because of those issues.
Yeah.
Now I learned to listen a little bit more now, you know, and he had to make, it was just so interesting because I was like, man, there's those issues, mommy issues, where it's like, man, that makes sense of different reasons for things. It may not be no excuse, but different. It's always that why factor, what I always talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a why.
Yeah.
Everybody has a why they may not be respecting women or respectful. Like, just to touch real quick before I turn it back to you, in a woman's case, she may be talking to a man crazy, just like really talking off, like just saying anything when she get upset and just really not having, maybe she had those issues with her mom. Maybe they didn't have the best sit down, calm talking, you know, let's talk this thing out. Maybe it was always, let's see who can out talk who, or, you know, or no, I'm going to have the last word. No, I'm going to have the last word. Oh, no, it's so many different dynamics that make you think about issues that could have been, you know, handled years ago. So now that you in a relationship, you talking to your man, or you talking to your husband, or you talking to whomever a certain way because you're used to talking that way to your mom.
Yeah.
Because that's your most important person in your life. That's the person that brought you into this world. How you feel about that?
Man, I got to tell you, you hit it on the head when you said basically fixing the problems and stuff. As a community, a black community, you go seek help. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I want to talk about the gentleman that's dogging, you know, the women because he had mother issues, mommy issues. At some point in life, you can't keep blaming it on mommy issues. Well, one, you need to go seek help because you're going to miss the right woman because you have mommy issues. Or two, the right woman ain't came along to make you want to be a better person. Because let's call it what it is. Women and men, it works vice versa. When you find a mate, they supposed to want to make you feel like being a better person. You know what I'm saying? But for him to keep on in the same trait as he was when he was a young teen, young adult, to a grown man now, it's no excuse. You need to seek help. In our community, I want to put this out. If you have those issues, go seek help. Go talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's gonna only keep bringing you down to issues that you're just gonna keep reoccurring, and you just need to go seek help, and it's fine. I don't think we preach that enough. I'm starting to see more and more of our community talk about seeking help, and don't be embarrassed about it. You know what I'm saying? But but you have to take ownership at some point once you start getting old. You can't keep blaming something on the way you grew up. You're a grown man now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, man, we can just go on and on with this, man. It's so significant that we're saying all this. We have to keep in mind of, you know, growth, and keep in mind of excuses and stuff like that. Like, you can tell your story and say, this is why I did it, but you don't have to stay in it. You know what I mean? It's about just like, okay, you gotta, you know, you gotta feel uncomfortable being in a situation that's gonna hurt people. If you're not uncomfortable, if you're not uncomfortable, if you stay in a situation and you too comfortable being in something that is hurting people, it's gonna, to me, I look at it like you just don't care. Yeah. You too comfortable being in that situation. You got to get uncomfortable being in a situation that hurt other people. Yeah. You know, just because you was hurt, that shouldn't give you the feeling or give you the right to just hurt other people. So whatever mommy issues that you are dealing with, or anybody is dealing with, you know, stop taking excuses. Stop being, as I hear some women say, stop being a sucker. Stop being some women that say stop being an F boy.
Hey, man. Oh man, damn.
They say that. They say that. That's just like real talk.
Especially Florida terms or Southern terms.
Yeah. But you know, you want to say something?
Yeah, before we close out, you know, I know we're gonna give our mission statement, but I just want to give this disclaimer that letting you know we're not an advisory advisory. We're not giving just an advisory that is law. We're giving our opinion. And
so
hopefully
important.
we all can just learn or gather something from each other. So don't take it as we're trying to give advice, because we're not perfect. We ain't went to school to be counselors or anything like that. We just want to have an open discussion and give our opinion. And that don't mean it's law and don't mean it works for you. So, but we'll have our mission statement at the end of this anyway. But I just wanted to get that disclaimer.
All right, man. I want you to like, subscribe, share, comment.
Yes,
let us know how you feel about the episode, man. We always do this for us to be better and, like you said, give our opinions, man. We want to thank y'all for watching the Arthur J and Tori TV podcast.
Yes, sir.
And like we always say, till next time,
Peace.